It is an ancient saying that as you sow, so shall you reap. How true is this statement? Perhaps no one has the exact answer to it, because we have never really tried and observed it. We say that the result of good deeds is good, but ask yourself from your heart. Can you say this with complete confidence? But just think, if you understand this through experimentation, all your doubts and questions will be resolved, because without experimenting, a person's intellect cannot fully believe in anything. If they believe in something without experimentation, they are called superstitious. In today's enlightening story that I am going to tell you, you will learn the science of karma, after which you can achieve success in your life through karma. Your intellect will be compelled to believe that yes, the results of actions always bear fruit. Before you get lost in this story, make sure to subscribe to this channel. So let's start a story. A Buddhist monk and his disciple lived in a hut in a jungle. The elderly Buddhist monk was highly meditative. When he would sit for meditation, he would remain in that state for 2 to 3 days. The elderly Buddhist monk possessed a unique power that allowed him to see the future while in meditation. One day, while he was meditating, he saw that after 8 days, his young disciple would pass away. He called his disciple to him and said, "I am giving you leave for the next 7 days. You can stay at your home during these 7 days." The disciple happily asked, "Is this true?" The guru replied, "Yes." The disciple smiled and said, "I had been wanting to meet my family for many days." The guru said, "That's fine, but remember to return here by the evening of the 8th day." The disciple nodded and said, "Okay, Guruji, I will be back. But please take care, now you have grown old, and any work in the ashram, leave it for me, I will take care of it when I return." After receiving the guru's blessings, the disciple descended the mountain, unaware of the pain in the guru's eyes from losing his disciple. On the way to the disciple's village, there was a river. On the banks of the river, there were many anthills where thousands of ants lived. Some ants were continuously going inside the anthill. Some of those ants were coming out, and a few of them were colliding with each other, changing their path. The disciple was delighted to see all this. He stood there for a while, watching those ants. Then suddenly, his attention turned towards the river. He noticed that the water of the river was slowly rising, and the rising waves could reach the anthills of the ants, causing harm to thousands of them for no reason. Thinking about this, he immediately took off his upper garments and created a deep pit in the ground around the anthill, filling it with mud. Along with that, he skillfully cut the mud to create a small canal so that the water coming from the waves would flow back into the river through the canal. After completing these tasks, he crossed the river and returned home. Once he reached home, he didn't even realize that 8 days had passed. On the 8th day, he remembered that by evening today, Guruji had ordered him to return to the ashram. He had made all the preparations to leave for the ashram the next morning. As soon as morning came, he set out for the ashram. He hoped to reach the ashram before evening. The evening had arrived. Sitting in the ashram, Guruji was thinking that today is the 9th day. By now, my disciple must have left this world. He was quite saddened by this thought. He couldn't even see his disciple one last time before he passed away. While sitting there lost in thoughts, he noticed a person approaching from a distance. He looked closely and was surprised. "Oh, this is my disciple." Guruji ran towards the disciple and embraced him, but he was also amazed at how he managed to survive after 8 days. Guruji asked his disciple to tell him everything he had done after leaving the ashram. Then the disciple narrated the story of the ants to Guruji. After listening to the story, Guruji quickly understood that the disciple had saved the lives of countless ants, and as a result, he was now leading a long and prosperous life. After hearing the story, Guruji couldn't help but say that karma always comes back. The disciple didn't understand the meaning of Guruji's words. Therefore, when he asked Guruji, the guru explained everything to him. After that, a question arose in the disciple's mind, and he asked his guru, You're a G. When you were in deep meditation and knew how karma works, you could have asked me to do a good deed so that my death could have been postponed. Why didn't you do that? I unknowingly helped those ants, and as a result, I am alive today. But you could have made me do the same deed by telling me about it. Why didn't you do that? Hearing this, Guruji smiled and said, "It is as it is meant to be." Whenever an action is done without any greed, it is called true karma. There is no attachment to gaining something in such deeds. Those actions yield true results, and they are known as karma. If I had asked you to perform that process to delay your death, you would have done it with the intention of achieving a goal, and in that pursuit, greed would have been involved. As a result, you wouldn't receive the full benefit of that karma. One small principle of karma is to just perform the action without generating greed in the mind, without pondering over the results or outcomes. Often, when a person donates something, there is a sense of attachment associated with that act in their mind. That if I am praying sincerely, God will surely bless me, and everything will be fine. In life, we often perform many actions with the expectation that if we do this, God will reward us, but we don't always receive the full benefit of those actions. Later, we might start doubting the principles of karma, thinking they are false. Just think about it yourself. When you go to a temple, some desire for gaining something arises in your mind. When you pray with folded hands, you have some wish in your heart. Closing your eyes, the key to understanding is that prayers are accepted only when they are offered with no desires in the heart, and you express gratitude to the divine for everything he has given you. Instead of becoming a beggar in the temple, one should aim to become a king, expressing gratitude to the Supreme with a sense of devotion. However, practicing this can be a bit challenging. Whenever you perform an action solely for yourself, the consequences of that action will surely come to your mind. You might think that if I do this work, it will be beneficial for me. Therefore, while doing this, focus your mind, keep it calm, and live in the present, performing actions without worrying about the future. You will surely receive the fruits, but there's no need to dwell on them. By not thinking about the results, you won't get stuck in the wrong direction. How did you like the story? Let me know in the comments section, and if you liked it, make sure to subscribe to this channel. See you in the next story. Take care and stay blissful.